Our teachers did a really great job of coming up with the lessons, working with me to integrate the technology, and then teaching the lessons to the students. The students were really excited to be using all the technology and learning the content in a way that was a little bit different than they had learned in the past. The technology integration on both projects really did meet our expectations and helped to teach the lesson and really reinforce the skills that the students learned. I think without the technology, I think these lessons would have been a little bit more traditional and less interactive for the students. And the technology really did inspire the students. They became excited when they got to use it. In the high school, the students used Comic Strip Creator, an app on an iPad, and they were thrilled to be able to create comic strips. They created movies. They created brochures with QR codes. The idea of other students being able to look at their movies and comic strips by using their own devices and scanning the QR codes was great for our high school students and our elementary students. The iPads and the computers for the research really helped the students to individualize their own projects and put their own spin and their own personal touches on what they were learning. One of the things we might do a little bit different next time is start a little bit earlier in the year with some of the technology pieces, especially for our elementary level. When Beth and I looked at what technology pieces we wanted the students to be able to choose from and be able to choose their own path, we realized the students hadn't been exposed to all of those tech pieces just yet. We'll start at the beginning of the year and start integrating those technology pieces into other projects so the students have been exposed a little bit earlier. Overall, we were really pleased as a district. It was a great experience to bring in project-based learning with our teachers and staff, and this is just the beginning.
This experience met my expectations completely. I really wanted the kids to have creative ways to do their retellings for their stories, and they kind of went above and beyond my expectations. Their projects were absolutely fantastic, and they really enjoyed it. They were completely engaged. I thought it was a great experience. The kids were really engaged throughout the entire project. I had one student in particular who didn't really feel working in groups, and so that kind of hindered his group slightly, but after talking to him briefly, he was right into it and was really appreciative of what the other kids were doing, and he was on board with what was going on. He really did enjoy working with the technology at the end. I think he just needed a little extra motivation to get started. The only surprise I had was honestly how great their projects turned out and how much fun they had during the entire thing. The ways that I integrated technology into my experience with my students was they used the iPads using the Puppet Pals app as well as the iMovie app. I was kind of amazed by how the Puppet Pals videos came out and how fantastic they were, how tech savvy the kids were with them. They automatically knew how to get images off Google search and download them right into their presentations. I was really impressed by the students. I think the students really hit the learning targets of recounting fables, fairy tales, and the morals of their stories. I might give them more time in advance to work with iMovie, the app from our iPads, just because it took them a little while to get things going and to edit. The editing was a little bit tricky for them at times, but they were able to get it and they did a fantastic job.
This project, the PBL lesson, was very impressive. It exceeded my expectations, especially when it came to the student product. Our students did significantly better than they do on any normal project. They definitely did much better since they had more control over the project. It also put a lot of independence on them, and it will hopefully prepare them for life after high school, which is nice for this PBL project, and that was something I did not expect. And that's definitely one of the strengths as well. It helps prepare students for, like I said, life after high school, because they're not going to have us there all the time for them to guide them and get them to the end result that we're looking for. The weakness, I guess, would just be planning. It does take a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time to familiarize yourself with the technology and make sure that the kids know how to use the technology. But once you use it a couple times, it's easier to do more and more projects like that soon after. Our class has been doing more and more projects in this PBL setup, and I'm just super impressed with the kids. And we hope to continue because the kids really enjoy the technology piece of it too. The technology piece of the PBL lesson was very impressive. Our kids have not used technology a lot in that class, but they seem to do much better with the technology, so I would just keep incorporating that as much as possible. because they actually respected it more because they had more fun with it, and which then in result turned out better projects in the long run. The only thing that I would change with the technology is to add actually more. I was very impressed with the comic strips they made and the videos and the brochures, but I would like to incorporate as many different types of technology and apps on iPads and different things on Google and Google Apps on the computer that the kids can use. And now that I've done my first PBL lesson, I'm continuing with this class, I'm discovering more and more pieces of technology that are very helpful. And the more technology you use in the project, usually the better end result. It seems that's the trend that I've been seeing in my classroom.
Yeah, I think the PBL experience was a good one for us to be involved in. I wish we had done some PBL work before we started this project, but I think it flowed nicely, and I think our teachers did get a lot out of it. Our plan is to expand our PBL experience to other teachers and other content areas as we move into our curriculum revisions. As far as technology integration, I think we learned a lot in doing it. I think our teachers have done a great job of integrating technology into our current curriculum at this point, and I think we're expanding that and looking at new tools that we can use and how to use them and integrate them into our curriculum. So we will continue to do that work and implement more PBL experiences in our curriculums for our students here at Ross.